Hello, I hope everybody's doing fantastic. I know it's been a little longer than usual. I try to get some stuff out pretty regularly, at least every 10 days or so. Um, but I kind of got a lazy start to this one, at least with doing a project with a video in mind. I've been doing a lot of drawing outside the video realm. I do record them with the thinking that I might create a video of them, but they don't always turn out so good, or they're probably not any kind of content that would be easily, how would I say it, built into a video or constructed into a video, turned into something that somebody would want to sit down and watch for a while. Although, I think the drawings are good. Just maybe, who knows, right? But I just don't know if anybody would be interested in watching it. So here we go. This is a continuation of my Starflight obsession, and I'm walking. It seems like I'm walking through. I didn't really intend to do this, but I'm kind of moving through the different aliens, and I don't know if I'll move on with the next one, going through their ships and coming up with the races like I did with the Velox and the Thrin. This group this group of alien races is the Elowan, Elawon. There you go, Elowan. Um, and they were a plant race or species or um, creatures, whatever, that developed a civilization and evolved sentience, I suppose. And I guess in keeping with the Starflight creatures or aliens, they were plant people. You had dinosaur people or lizard people. You had bug people, and now we have plant people. So I guess it's really just a layering of a different kind of critter over the top of a human, right? So I guess basically they're just going to act like we do, just with essentially act like we do, or humans do, just with a different form. And I'm not picking on the game or anything like that. It's just it's something that strikes me as I'm doing this, how that seems to be the case in some of these designs. But it's a game, and it was simple character design. It was a lot of fun. It was great. Doesn't take away from the story at all. The one thing, I guess, looking at it, and this once again, this is based off the actual graphic from the Tandy 1016 color version of the game, and I will post those images on the side here as I'm going along for reference. And that I looked at a couple of different ones from the Sega and maybe the Atari or the Amiga version. I don't know if there was an Amiga version, but a couple of different versions of screenshots in there somewhere. The plants are sitting in like a captain's chair. That's what struck me as funny. I guess they would sit down. Wow, you could just stand. They got trunks, right? Tree trunks. They could be rigid. Who knows? Maybe they're floppy like reeds. And they got to sit. But the interior, as you can see on the PC image, or the Tandy 1000 image, was a PC. It was a PC, right? It has that paneling. They're in like this paneled room with circular portals, which this strikes me as distinctively non-alien, right? It does not seem mysterious or foreign on any level. But I'm sticking to it. I'm not gonna go with any artistic license. I'm just gonna slavishly utilize that as my template for the interior shot where I create the plant people, that Ella and their ships. Now the ships are kind of what I always sort of pictured them, extrapolating it from the tiny little graphic. And from the graphic, it almost looks like it would be a cooler design if it was from the side, if that was from the side view. But um, I just assumed it was from the top, and it was kind of this asymmetrical design, almost looked like a banana. But I didn't make it yellow, so more of a I'm gonna go with more, of course, green plant leaf color, chlorophyll, and I guess maybe that's what could be in the cockpit or their crew area is in that cabin. Of course, they have a checkered floor with some square Masonic linoleum, some checkerboard pattern. Um, but the paneling, those could be maybe like glow lights or grow lights, so they can get their UV rays out in space or within their ship. Anyway, here we go. Just gonna hit it with the watercolor, and I was kind of happy with the way the plant people turned out, or the creatures themselves. It was a fun little project, and I think the next alien would be, because there was the Thrin, which were the lizard people. You had the Velexi, which were of course the bug people, and then there would be these guys, the Elowan, and you had Gizzardtroid, which were like giant squids or octopuses, and Spemen or Spemen, which were just little blobs with eyeballs all over them. Those might be fun. Those might be interesting to accomplish. And for the eyes, some of the eyes just had like a flat red, and I didn't know. Maybe it would be, I'm kind of picturing like a little pomegranate interior with all the seeds. That would be the eyeballs, because I guess plants are receptive to light. Do they turn towards the light, right? So I guess it's not too far-fetched that plants could develop sight, depending on how detailed the receptors in their eyes could develop. And maybe they could combine the senses with chemical input with the light input to, in their plant brain, synthesize an overall image of their environment, or get a picture different than we imagine, or have to navigate with, I guess, blah blah blah. And here we go. I'm going to make a mess on the right, mixing up the paint, and I use my hand and arm as a means to remove some of that excess paint. It's only watercolor, so I'm not too worried about long-term chemical exposure. Maybe I should be, depending on where those cheapo paints are made. I'm gonna marker it up with the windows. This is gonna be a big flat black, and I'm trying to keep that just a muted color for that background, dark grays. And that paneling, of course, it's just a flat color on that graphic. Try to give it a little bit of character and shade. Boy, my hand's a mess. I didn't even realize that. All right. It's just, I do that because I run the brush over my hand a lot of times, just because it's a real good way to control how much water I keep on the brush. Because sometimes I just want enough to spread it around, but I don't want it to be too thinned out where it makes a mess on the paper. I know, it's weird. And this is how I've always doodled this ship, because I'm doing this as a video as like probably my 300th attempt at drawing these various Starflight ships. And I've always, in my mind's eye, kind of look like this strange cucumber maybe, or banana or something, like that. And those, I guess, kind of come off like guns or big cannons, but they're supposed to be, I guess they would be the warp drives. That's what I'm thinking. I can't really tell. I could not tell you what they were based off just that little tiny little image, because that little Scout is the single hull one. That's the Scout, and it has two, but on the specifications it says it only has, what is that, a laser? I don't know, I don't have it in front of me. Hang on a sec, maybe I do. I'm digging through the document right now. that I have this old Word document from the late 90s that somebody put together with every bit of information about Starflight, all the colonized planets, all the artifacts, where everything's located, all the communications. It's just kind of like Encyclopedia Starflight. And I don't know if it's available. I guess if I've done some searches for it to see if it was still around, but I haven't seen it. No, the Scout had no weapons. How about that? So they definitely are not cannons or missile launchers. And the warship was the only one that had weapons, and it was missiles. That three hulled one is a transport. This was one of the races that had a transport. I think the Velox had a transport. I thought the Thrin did too, but this document doesn't have one. I could be misremembering it, or Mandela affecting my Starflight ships. And that paint is a little glossy on the camera with the lens. That acrylic paint. All right, well, there we go. Here we are. We are all done. If you stopped by and hung around this long, I truly appreciate it. And we'll be doing this again, maybe, hopefully, a little sooner than later. All right, thanks again. Bye.